Good afternoon. A little bit different. It's Harris time here, coming at you with Goodwill Hunting, True North's Week 7 waiver wire. Usually it's an article that drops, but we're changing it up this week. We're doing a little live stream and video. So Goodwill Hunting weekly insights to lead your league. We're going to give you a positional breakdown of who you should be going out and getting this week. And we're going to kick it off with QB, and it's not looking pretty this week. Bye weeks are happening. Injuries continue to rack up, and we're going with our boy Daniel Jones of the New York Giants. Got a plus matchup with the Philadelphia Eagles this week. Going to go Danny Dimes because there isn't a lot out there right now. Tua is on bye week this week, so he would be a prime ad if you've got some space on your bench. But we're going to go with Daniel Jones and the matchup against the Eagles. We've got Jimmy G playing New England. Jimmy G's kind of been all over. He looked good last week, but he's another potential ad. It's getting really, really thin out there. I'm looking at Daniel Jones and what opposing quarterbacks have been able to do against the Eagles. So my priority this week, if you have to, is Danny Dimes. You've also got Jimmy G out there and a bunch of other guys that probably aren't worth a start. In RB, we actually do have something to talk about and somebody that can potentially help you for the rest of the season, depending on Miles Sanders' injury to his, I believe it's his knee or ankle. That would be Boston Scott. He's only rostered in 16% of leagues right now. So we've seen what Boston Scott has been able to do. He's a legend in Philadelphia, and he has been very effective when he's been put in that starter's role. So Boston Scott is going to be playing against the Giants as well. So I would be out there adding Boston Scott to a Philadelphia team that, they haven't put up a lot of wins, but they've shown a lot of heart. They've been playing some really hard football. And I expect this one to hopefully not be as low scoring as that Washington and versus the Giants game. So go out and get Boston Scott if available. Should be available 16%. Depending on the severity of Miles Sanders' injury, I'd make a pretty aggressive fab bid for Scott this week. And then we're going to actually go over to wide receiver with somebody that has been rostered on a lot of my teams, also dropped on a lot of our teams, and he did what he does best. He had a Christian Kirk game last night against the Dallas defenseless Cowboys. So Kirk is somebody that I am absolutely, if you need help at wide receiver, he's only rostered in 34% of leagues right now. Just be prepared. Just be prepared for the boom. Be prepared for the bust. That's how Christian Kirk likes to operate. It's, there's not a lot of medium pace with this guy, and with DeAndre Hopkins there soaking up so many different targets. Christian Kirk isn't getting the volume that he's used to, but he does have the skill and the ability to be, a WR2 type of player, but he does need that volume, and hopefully he continues to keep it up. Then we're going to move over to tight end. I'm going right back to the well, same as I did last week with Houston tight end and Darren Fells. Darren Fells absolutely lit it up. People forget that he was the third highest scoring tight end in fantasy football last year with touchdowns. So keep in mind that Darren Fells is a valid start. Probably until, even if Akins gets healthy, I think that Deshaun Watson is just going to continue to ride the hot hand for whatever reason. They love to target the tight end there. It is their red zone weapon. So go out and get Darren Fells. It's certainly acquirable. Probably wouldn't be spending a ton of fab on him because tight end again is such a nightmare of a position this year. So Darren Fells, if you need help on the tight end position, another guy that looked really good. Shout out to a lot of the True Northers was Irv Smith Jr. Irv Smith Jr. put up a very solid week. Could just be the Atlanta factor because they don't seem to be able to stop anybody. But Irv Smith Jr., if you can't for some reason get Darren Fells, I don't know if I would be putting waiver priority on these tight ends, because you could probably just pick them up as free agents once your waiver period ends. I wouldn't be spending a lot of fab on them, but if I had to, it would definitely be Darren Fells of the Houston Texans. And then just kind of a look at how about Dem Apples from last week, some of our picks. And again, usually on Thursdays, you'll be able to find this article, Goodwill Hunting, on True North FFB, where I break down every single position, who my top picks are, and then I give a Professor Lambo's picks, which are 3 picks that if you don't get that top pick, go out and add them on waivers. And then how about Dem Apples is looking back on who I picked last week and give a little bit of accountability to It's Harris time and what we're doing. Hey, completely dropped the ball on Andy Dalton. It just looked like, hey, situationally, he was going to come in, slide in, be able to get some outlet passes out to the likes of CeeDee Lamb and Ezekiel Elliott. We're not sure what's going on in Dallas. It looks like a disaster zone. And I just read a quote that the coaches aren't good at their job. People should lose their job. Never a good sign in Dallas. We hope that things can get righted there for fantasy purposes. And then I went Dallas again, just like I'm going double on that Eagles Giants game. I doubled down on Cowboys. The running back situation, unless there's injury, is very, very scarce this season. So that's why if you have the extra roster spots, go in and grab a Tony Pollard. He's one of these elite handcuffs in the league. Again, in that game where nothing went right against the Cardinals, Tony Pollard wasn't really relevant. But again, if you have the roster spots, stashing some of these elite handcuffs is a good job. Chase Claypool, no-brainer wide receiver ad last week. He put up 20 points. He's used again in the run game on a jet sweep and scored another touchdown. Good for 20 fantasy points. This kid is legit. He is the real deal. We've been saying it for a long time here at True North, but Chase Claypool is here to stay. He's trusted in that offense. He's got Big Ben's ear, and he looks to be the part of their alpha receiver. So Claypool's still available. Go out and get him. And this is a guy that I would be, if you need help at wide receiver, I would be spending serious budget on to go out and get Chase Claypool, also known as Mapletron. And then, I went back to the well this week because I guess nobody listened to me last week in terms of adding Darren Fells on the waiver wire. Just go out and get him. It doesn't cost anything. And he's going to put up borderline tight end 1 numbers when he's getting action, and he has been. I mean, he's also been used outside of the red zone. Last week, he actually had a really big catch and run as well. So in Houston, he is an option. They keep going to that tight end. So Darren Fells put up another tutter, and I believe it was almost 20 points. I mean, not that it takes a lot to be a tight end 1 in this for fantasy purposes, but Darren Fells continues to put up those numbers. He's like the ageless wonder. Not sure how he's doing it, but we don't need to know. Just go out, get Darren Fells, and I wish you the best this week. Next week, we're going to get right back on track with our article, which you can pick up every Tuesday on True North FFB. Make sure that you give us a follow at True North Fantasy Football across the Twitter sphere. You can follow myself at It's Harris Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, we'll get back online next week, and great luck this week. We're going to have some great football. So thank you so much for tuning in, and have an awesome day.